Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? Great. Well, thank you guys for being here today, and just we hope that, sincerely hope that everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family, friends, significant others. So it's good to be back on campus, and certainly today get an opportunity to spend a little time with two amazing groups that are going to be presenting their projects. Today we're going to do things a little bit differently, and first and foremost, my name is Brent, and I'm with the Career Services team. We're going to take a little different trip today with our students. We're going to spend a little bit of time with them, give you guys as an audience an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better. But then following that, we're going to send them to the back of the room, and they have actually put together their applications at their particular stations that are back behind us here. And we'll separate out the group, give you guys an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with the students, let them show off their application, and give you a chance to ask some more specific questions. Some of you guys may have not only some technical questions, but just some other ideas and sharing with the students as they get back there to the back. But to begin with, we certainly want to just say welcome to each and every one of you guys, to the family and friends that are here, to our employer partners that are in attendance today. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy days and joining us for this fantastic student showcase that's going to be presented by Team Gestalt and Team 7. So we do have 6 team members here today. Team Gestalt actually has Jerome Young, who's on the computer and hanging out with us virtually today. We'll move him up to a little bit larger screen as we move to the back towards the end of the presentation. But again, you guys are in for a great show, and thank you guys for being here today. So to get started, we want to bring up Ammon King, their instructor, to say a few words to the students. Ammon?
Great to meet you. So my name is Ammon King. I had the pleasure of being this crew's instructor for 12 long weeks. So as of today, you have graduated, which means if you need my help in the future, my consulting rate kicks in. But seriously, today I am filled with emotions that I do not know how to describe. So Brent.
Thank you, Ammon. I never exactly know how to follow you. You come up here, so no. But thanks for that. All right, guys, let's get to know these guys a little bit better. Again, this is their day, and we want to give each of them an opportunity to introduce themselves. So we're going to start off with the guys in the front. Clinton, you have the mic in your hand, so we'll start off with you. Guys, here's what I'd like you guys to do for the audience. Give us your name, tell us what brought you to Woz U, and what your goals are after graduation. Clinton?
All right, so my name is Clinton Ordonez. What brought me here was just trying to develop skills a little bit quicker. I've been messing around with code and breaking things since like 6th and 7th grade. So this is kind of sharpening what I've already learned. Added a whole bunch of new skills, made it applicable. So yeah, that, and just want to get out into the job market a little bit quicker. I've been working on a 4-year degree, and school isn't free, so it's not the quickest thing sometimes. So I just want to get into the job field to have the skills and experience before everybody else gets out to the job field. So yeah. So what was the other part of the question? Did I miss something?
Just goals after graduation?
Oh yeah. I want to get into the just find something that starts something. I want to work as soon as I can because I want to sharpen the skills, make sure I can apply what I have learned, and that I don't forget anything. That's a big part. Don't use it. You can sometimes lose it.
Great. Jerome, we are not going to skip over you. We are going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself when you get over to the big screen. We want you in high def. So we're going to pass it over to Ramy. Ramy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Ramy Macarius. I chose this career from 2 years ago. I like to be genius in this career. So I came here in Woz U, and Woz U make me more professional, especially from the study include back end, the front end, everything that the market needed now. I feel myself now professional. I'm looking my goal, right? Yeah. Now I can get any job by higher salary, full stack developer. It doesn't matter. That's great. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ramy.
Welcome.
Emily, I think you have a mic back there. We'll move back to the back row. So Emily?
Hi, I'm Emily Carter. What brought me to Woz U, I guess, was just to pick up some coding skills. I was a coding newbie. I really didn't have any experience prior to attending Woz U. I graduated and got my master's in marketing and communications, and would work a lot with some of our tech department with the companies I was working with, and then just really started liking the code and wanted to learn more about that, and then also opened some opportunities to possibly work with marketing companies in the future and their communications, but I really needed to learn a lot more about the coding and technology in general. So I really enjoyed a lot now that I'd like to be, work maybe in the IT department too, but we'll see what the future holds.
Thank you, Emily. Vinny, how about yourself?
Hi, I'm Vincent Ward. What brought me to Woz U was Steve Wozniak. He's always been a huge inspiration for me. So once his name got put on a coder camp, that's exactly where I went. After graduation, I plan on working on a bunch of side projects and hopefully getting a job in the field as a software developer.
Thank you, Vincent. And Nayib, how about yourself?
My name is Nayib Chabur, and well, originally I was doing accounting back in college, and I wasn't satisfied doing that, so I came here looking for other types of career. My cousin, he also did the online version last year, and he introduced me to a lot of coding and computer programming. And he was more, a little bit like a mentor towards me. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been really fantastic being here in Woz U, just learning something that I didn't know. I didn't know pretty much anything about coding. And so I'd like to do just more, just being in a career with computer programming.
Very cool. And Scott?
Yeah, my name is Scott Shetley. I don't need a mic. I was a rep here at Woz U. I was hired over a year ago, and I actually signed people up for the program. And after seeing and helping people go through the program and seeing how effective it was, and seeing people actually land jobs, because you hear numbers and you know numbers, and you know that these things are fact-checking stuff, but it's always a little bit of, then you see your students get a job, or you see how happy they are. And I thought, the opportunity came, and I thought, I think I can do that. And I don't have a background in this. I don't have a great education background, and so I was real nervous going into it. But the system here is set up in a way that any person can do it. I honestly believe that. And it just takes time and effort and a commitment. And if you can make those two things, you can get through it. And being here, hopefully, is going to allow me to move into a software developer position. It's something I'm looking forward to, and want to do that for a while, hopefully.
Thank you, guys. And yeah, each of you guys, thank you so much for not only the time and the commitment, and we're going to get to learn a little bit more about you guys in your respective groups and the whole team dynamic, and just this exercise during the project phase. As many of us know or don't know, that this isn't just about building a working application, a cool application, the creativity, the allocation of responsibilities. It's also a phenomenal exercise in group dynamic and understanding what it takes to be on a successful dev team, working with a virtual student within your group, having 4 distinctly different personalities and having to mesh all of those together within a very, very short amount of time, and producing what you guys are going to see are amazing applications. So just hats off to each and every one of you guys for the efforts in getting to this stage. So the remaining questions we're going to throw out to each of the groups. So we're going to, first and foremost, and Scott, we'll start with you in the back and with Team 7. What made you guys choose your particular project and theme? Can you guys summarize what your project is to the group and let us know why you chose that?
Yeah, so we all had ideas that we wanted to accomplish during that short amount of time. We had a very come together as a team, and we all voted on ideas and came up with the ones. I had several ideas that I was for sure I was going to vote for, and no one else's idea I was going to vote for. And then I heard the other ideas, and I was like, I'm not going to vote for my ideas anymore. I'm going to vote for their ideas. And we ended up with a service-related application, web application that we're pretty happy with. There's obviously things that we wanted to accomplish in 12 weeks that wasn't able to happen, but you know, we got it up and running to a point that we wanted it to, and it was working with everybody was fun and a struggle at times, and we're glad to finally get it up and running to show people now.
Very cool. Well, we're excited to see it here in just a few minutes. So, Clinton, how about you guys? What made you guys choose the particular theme of your project?
Oh, so for that one, we originally started off as a team of 4, and unfortunately we lost a teammate, and we kind of had to be realistic about what our approaches were going to be. So we were unsure for about the first 2 weeks what we were going to actually make. So we just started building something that was functional. So we ticked all the boxes that were required for graduation, but then we, I guess, reorganized and understanding what we could do in scope and time-wise, decided to keep building on what we had. So the idea is it's a functional base that anything can be built off of, and it manipulates all the user data a lot quicker, and it's smart enough not to allow any bad data to be exchanged. And then on top of that, it is, I guess it's so hard, it's kind of hard to explain. I could bore you guys with a ton of code. But yeah, it's a functional login, it tracks user data accurately. It can take user input, user preference, and it keeps that tracked constantly. And at no point does it fail the data exchange. So it's a very, very hard input. It's smart enough not to take anything invalid, which is huge because null data is useless. So that was our big design, and we just built a little game so people can play a game on top of it.
All right, very nice, very nice. Well, sticking with you guys, how did you guys separate out responsibilities? And the fact that you guys had Jerome and a virtual teammate as well, somebody that you guys had to communicate online, how did you guys separate out responsibilities as a group? Go ahead, Ramy. Go ahead.
Okay, not specific like that, but it depends what you like to do. It was a negotiation between us, between Clinton and me and Jerome. What you like to start with, back end, front end, and the next step it will be in front end. What you like to do, which component, which function, what is the next step. It was like a workshop, but it was very perfect. Yeah.
Okay, good. How about you guys in the back? Would anybody like to share? Team 7, how did you guys, team of 4, pretty large group, how did you guys split out responsibilities?
Well, originally our plan as a team was dividing it by, similar to what Ramy said, as front end, if someone like front end, they do front end, and then someone like back end, they do most of the server side. And so we figured that it was better just to do things that were needed, or things that we needed for our project. So, less so like, I'm gonna do back end, I'm gonna do front end. We wanted it to be like that, but it ended up just being, like I said, just whatever was needed, we put it there.
Each of you guys got a little bit of a taste of everything. Okay, very nice. Very nice. So sticking with the back group here again, a couple more questions for you guys. Other than challenges involving naming rights, which I know you guys had a little bit of with the group in the back, what other challenges did you guys face as a group, and how did you guys overcome those? Anything you guys want to share?
Yeah, I would say maybe the delegation of tasks. We learned pretty quickly that using the Trello board would be very helpful. I think we started to get more organized when we did start using the Trello board and set up a doing, to do, a backlog, and then a finished list. And that kind of helped us stay on task and breaking down bigger tasks into smaller ones. Because that kind of just helped us like complete and meet deadlines. And then yeah, the agile work environment, that was something we had to adjust to and like kind of like learn to work in the group, learn to get these small tasks completed, and just having that experience helped us a lot because that was a learning curve for some of us. And then, you know, knowing what was realistic. So I think what Clinton was mentioning is we had a lot of good ideas in the beginning, and we thought they were going to be achievable. And then when we really started working on the project, we were like, well, maybe we should backlog that as something that will just handle that if we can complete the main goals of the project. And so we have a good bit that we would have done if we could have had a little extra time.
Very nice. Okay, moving to the front, guys. How about you guys? Any challenges you guys faced?
Well, there's a big challenge in working with someone who was remote. So that in itself, you had to set distinct goals and timelines to speak with everybody. Because you also lose that dynamic of some of the like the peer dev work. You don't have the ability to talk things out as easily. So there was definitely the, I guess, discipline to carve up everything into digestible pieces, like Emily was mentioning, and making sure everybody was staying on track. And then the big thing was every day we made sure that something was done, even if it was just changing the colors on the screen, correcting typos because we had a bad day or bad progress. We still had something that was improved from the day before and it got pushed up. So every day, if we were kind of in a slog, we could see we had daily progress regardless. It helped keep us motivated, and ultimately got us where we are, to where we, troubleshot a lot of our stuff and, accomplished, about exactly as much as we expected to. Like, we stayed on track once we realized we had to shave down the scope of the project early on.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Guys, I'm going to save the last question for when you guys move over to your stations, and that involves, if you guys had a couple more weeks, what additional features would you guys add to your application? But we want to give you guys a chance as you're visually presenting your app. Those are some things you can share with the group as they come around. So we'll save that one for last. So thank you guys. Guys, let's give these guys a quick round of applause. All right, guys, so before we bring you guys up to receive your certificates and then move out to the back to actually present your projects, I do want to bring up one other individual for some closing remarks. If we could bring Chris Coleman, the president of Woz U, up to the front. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, sir. All right, hi everybody. I just want to take a quick minute. I know everybody's excited to get onto the projects, but I wanted to share a couple of observations like I like to do with most of our groups. With this group, one of the things that I noticed was a real strong sense of that engineering mindset that we try to develop here as part of our program. When you start this program coming from a lot of varied backgrounds, a lot of doubt can kind of set in, right? Is this the right opportunity for me? Can I accomplish this thing? A lot of our students come from backgrounds where they don't really have a foothold in technology, right? They don't understand how accessible these skills are, and they also don't understand not just how challenging it can be, but it's kind of a different type of challenge, right? It's not like just run faster and maybe you'll get fast one day. You really have to be able to pull yourself away from the challenge and think about it critically to come up with the solutions that you need. And what I'm seeing in here in this group and in some of the conversations that we've had is you guys have worked through a lot of those things, right? Working with a remote teammate, finding yourself 2 weeks behind schedule on your final project, right? And having an event happen, losing a teammate, finding a way to overcome that and deliver on time and produce something that's meaningful on time. So that's really the core of what we do. There's obviously a vast and growing set of technology concepts and tools and skills that can be taught. Our job here is to prioritize those to make sure that these students are workforce ready. But with that, there's something that's much stronger that takes place here, right? And it's developing that confidence that you will encounter challenges, right? Walking in here was a challenge. Sitting there today was a challenge. While we're all eating turkey, you guys were probably worried about other things, right? How do I deliver this on time? How's my demo going to go? You guys are probably a little worried about that right now. That's life as an engineer, right? That's life as trying to understand those challenges and coming up with creative solutions for overcoming those. And with this group, we see that in abundance. This is an incredibly challenging program. It's been 12 weeks of full-on dedication with no room for breathing. These guys have felt it, their families and their support systems have felt it, so we want to thank all of you as well. We're excited to congratulate you guys as graduates of our program, so without further ado, let's get to it.
Thank you, sir.
Chris and Ammon, if we could bring you guys up to the front, and let's give these guys some certificates before they showcase their apps. So grads, if you could do us a favor, Jerome, can you hear me? I see you, buddy.
Send a signal.
All right. All right. Jerome, it's in the mail. I promise you, partner. All right. Okay, so let's start off. Graduates, when we call your name, if you could come up to the front to receive your certificate. We will start with Miss Emily Carter. Emily. Yeah, doing a quick one? All right, we'll wait till we go over to the wall. Thanks, Emily. That's a fantastic pose, though, and we'll have you sit back down. Thank you. And next we have Nayib Chabur. Thanks, Nayib. Next we have Ramy Macarius. Clinton Ordonez. All right, Scott, we'll make it official. David Scott Shetley. Vincent Ward.
Congratulations, baby.
Don't drop that.
Jerome, coming to you, buddy. All right, guys, so without further ado, graduates, if we could have you guys move over to your respective stations. You can leave your microphones down. Yep, that's fine.
If you guys want
Audience, we're going to give these guys just a minute to log back in and get set up. And then everybody that's in attendance today, again, it's important to recognize just the time and the energy spent with the students and the graduates in their respective teams, and just the late nights, the long days. These guys happened to fall, their graduation day actually happened to fall during the Thanksgiving holidays, so they not only had to contend with the pressures of family and friends and hanging out and relaxing, but oh, by the way, finishing their group project to present today. So we want to give them an opportunity to certainly showcase their two projects. So what we'd ask of the group is we're going to kind of turn things around now and give you guys a chance to get up and walk around a little bit. These guys are set up in the back of the room. We're going to start over here with Team 7, and we'll have kind of half of the room move over that way. Guys, feel free, ask questions, poke, prod, get a sense of what they're all about in terms of the application that they developed. And feel free to ask questions. This is their time, but this is also your time, not only as a family member, as a friend, as a potential employer partner. Just give these guys an opportunity to showcase what they're all about, but also ask plenty of questions and get to know them a little bit more as a potential developer as they go out there. So if we can kind of just get this half of the room to move over to this side, this half of the room, let's head back here to Ramy and to Clinton, and then we'll bring Jerome over. And feel free, guys, let these guys show it off. Groups, if you guys can, Scott and Vinny and Emily and Nayib, you guys back there in the back, if you could tell these guys here a little bit about your project, and then you guys over here talk a little bit about your project, and let's get rolling, guys. Have fun.
I think Vinny's making sure that he's getting connected here. We have an application, a web application called SERVNUZZ, and the idea behind SERVNUZZ, which is our login screen here. So we're gonna log in as a buzzee, which you see right here. A buzzee is a person who gives service, so they're in a service industry. And the thought with this right now is that they're a waiter. And then he's gonna log in as a buzzor. A buzzor is a person who receives service. So he's going to log in as a person who maybe was at the restaurant, who was needing service. Logs in there with table 5 using an email address and a password. So as you can see on the Buzz U side where the server would be receive notifications, it's blank. And on the BuzzOver side, we have obviously a button, it's a service and a message center. So if Vinny was to type a message, died of thirst, and send it, hopefully it goes through on this side. You get a little notification and a time and a table and the message of what they need. And the message was Vinny's idea. At first we were just gonna do like, you know, hey, this table needs service, kind of just a buzz. We decided to add the message, and I really like the way it turned out. So you can see there, then they can dismiss it as well. So once it's been served, they can dismiss it away. That's it for now. Any questions? Yes.
If I'm a server and I have multiple tables and they're messaging me, will they come through in like the correct order?
In theory, they have the time. So the thought is you go by the notification that is the oldest, right? The person that's been waiting for service the longest. So it has the timestamp on it. So that's what you should be going by. Any other thoughts on that?
It should also be, you saw how we put a table in when we logged in and stuff, right? So that's where you pick what table you're servicing or what table you're ordering from. So, and you would only see the table, that table's messages.
Conceivably too, that obviously a server is going to have multiple tables, so they're going to have, when that popped up, it said table 5 on it. They could have a message that popped up at the same time. It said table 3, table 2, you know, multiple tables as well. Yeah, there's one for table 5 again for water. Very thirsty. Any other questions?
What? If you guys had more time, what would you guys add?
Emily, go ahead.
I know one thing we talked about was we wish we could have had more time to do a GPS integration for it, to locate, you know, narrow down to the restaurant or something. So that was one thing.
We have a grandiose idea that we're not going to leak out here because one of us will probably run with it eventually. But the grandiose idea boiled down to this, and I'm very happy with this as far as it goes because obviously it gets us our graduation requirements. And it gave us a lot of experience too.
Does the homepage have a login option? We can pick it, log in as a Buzz or a Buzz U, or do you have to go to different websites to do that, or how do you?
So good question. Do you want to take this one, Nayib? I'm sorry. You okay?
Yeah, sure.
Go right ahead, buddy.
Well, originally, I think we thought the homepage is more of a landing page, so it'd be more of an introduction, because if anyone is confused about this concept, you can just say, well, here is SERVNUZZ and how to use it. So the login would be at the other pages.
And then, so if you were to log out, Vinny,
So just
and
as
then
we started, if I just walked into the restaurant, and like, oh, you guys have this app,
Right.
I want to use it, I would go register.
so we integrated the pills at the bottom, which allow you to pick either or, and hopefully they land on the landing page, and the slideshow indicates what a Buzz U is and what a Buzz or is, and that way, so it's not as confusing. But then you can select either or. So if you're a server who goes to a restaurant and they're using this, but now you're expecting service, you can reverse your pill settings to let the app know who you are.
And the server, I imagine, will give them a quick rundown of how it works and tell them what table number they have
Right.
as well.
Exactly.
'Cause otherwise, I don't know what table I am.
Right.
So like, all right, well, here's how it works. Here's your table number. I'll be just a click away.
The server or the hostess or host, whoever, or information
As they
you
sit
have, the
down.
bartender. Anything
Sounds
else?
good. No, sounds
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
What was the biggest thing you learned?
Anybody?
A lot.
It's a ton.
Yeah.
The agile methodology.
Yeah, that was
yeah, we'd agree.
that was a I don't know. I think I'm the oldest in the group, and I'm oldest out of these 4. And I've worked obviously in business for a while and in sales for a while, And it's a different methodology when you're than outside software. And that was, I thought, going to be the easiest part. And for me, it turned out to be the hardest part. To work within that group, to find a way to work as a group, because it's peer related. There's not a boss. Every week, someone kind of took the role of what they call the Scrum Master, which was, you can see on our board back there, week 1 through 6, and but then, you know, and they don't delegate tasks. It's more of just a, hey, we need to have this meeting. Let's have this meeting now type of role. It's no power, no nothing. It's peer related. Everybody's on the same level. That's really hard when there's not someone there, you know, pointing, telling you what to do. It's really tough to do. But we figured it out. It was very tough.
What were all the technologies that were used to build it?
You did on this project. What part did you play here?
Mongo database, Mongoose, React, Redux, Redux THUNK. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we touched
Rotterdam, Body-Parser, Chorus, Git-Hub, Morgan. We deployed to Heroku.
Yeah, we touched on stuff in class. We touched on stuff outside of class, stuff that we thought would work. I mean, it was amazing. You think you're going to make something in one box, and then you end up multiple boxes.
Did you guys find one technology that you were really drawn to more than another? Like somebody really liked React, or somebody really liked GitHub?
I was into CSS. Yeah, I seem to gravitate more toward that, the front end, kind of the look of the thing.
Did you guys gravitate towards anything specifically? Or?
I fell in love with React Redux. That combination is quite powerful. So you can do basically anything you want, and then you can use those for the rest of your life. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I'd like to comment that I guess the biggest trouble I had on my project was, like they said, the workflow and Agile and GitHub was at times it was confusing to use. Just interesting how we're supposed to put the project and like merge it together. That was really.
And once you figured it out, though, do you like how powerful that is? Like how you can undo things?
We're still figuring it out.
Give me time, man. Give me time.
Yeah, as
it
you
did say that.
Being such a big deal, to be honest, you know, because throughout the time of us being in class, I felt like we honestly ended up growing and building up a really cool brotherhood of a relationship. So once we got into the group project phase, I felt, you know, comfortable already connecting with my buddies there next to me, and being able to contact them pretty easy. You know, if I felt like I needed to contact them over the weekend, even when there wasn't any school hours, they were definitely flexible and available for me to be able to talk to them and be able to get any questions of maybe what project of the chunk of code that they were working on, and me find out how they did it so I can apply my code, or me being able.
That's a great job. So please be sure, guys, if you get a chance to kind of move around here too. And those of you guys that just spoke a little bit with Team 7, let's go hang out with Team Gestalt.
Thank you, thank you.
Those of you guys with Team Gestalt, move over to Team 7. Let's get to know those guys a little bit as well.
High five. Well done. Good stuff. I'm here.
Spread the love.
Thank you, Lynn. Good job. Congrats.
And then, guys, if we can get you guys to just introduce your projects again to the group, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys. Clint, why don't you go ahead and lead it off and introduce your group again and your summary.
All right. Yeah. So basically, just to reiterate, the whole project was built around being able to accept user input, save it, validate it, and use that to log a user in and give them rights to actually access and use the website. So everything is dynamic and it's hardened, so you cannot pass bad data into the database, and it checks all the data as you enter it. So everything from double checking your password to verifying if you have a valid email address, it does that and gives you the feedback immediately, so you don't have to hit submit 10 times to guess your password or anything. It's telling you as you work. And then just like I did with Chris, then anybody can demo it. You can even put your data in and delete it right away because that's all part of it. Since you're within arm's reach there, you can go ahead.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Am I logging in, I assume?
You can log in or sign up because when you sign up, you can trash any data afterwards because that's something that's built into the app.
That's kind of why we came up with the purpose for it, and then the SERVNUZZ, of course.
Nope.
He's logging in table
There's all this
5.
pressure with people.
Of course.
And I can log in as a Buzz Z. Buzz Z is the person who gives the service.
And then like the feedback there will tell you right away if you have a valid email format, and as you type a password, it'll tell you if
She
you met
has
any of
to
the
claim the
criteria for all
table,
of
switch
it.
the field over to the
Tells your
position
password
that
matches,
they
and you
are.
submit.
And then so Vinny
It'll
goes
tell you
in,
if it's successful, and immediately pushes for login.
So you can send that message and hopefully.
And then you tell it not now, tell it you want to keep the information on the browser.
You know, an update on the other end.
You kind of choose any color.
The thought process behind that is.
And then tic-tac-toe is exactly what you think it is. And then, but since you are a new user, obviously you have no stats yet. And then it
Am I
doesn't.
playing myself?
You can play yourself, or you can play, anybody else. Like, who wants to play Sarah and tic-tac-toe? Anybody feeling brave?
I'm real bad, so.
Me too. It's been a long time.
You would. We thought about it.
I started poorly, so that's.
I should just go somewhere else.
We toyed around with putting AI in there, but yeah, there's not so much AI you can write for tic-tac-toe. There really isn't a lot.
And Vinny did a lot of good work on notifications. He took that head on.
All right, everyone.
Good job. And then it pushes the data into the database and becomes part of your actual user data. So as you log in and out, it will keep track of how many draws and wins and games there were. And then if you want to, you can always reset the board to do another game, or if you're embarrassed about your stats, you can always wipe your stats.
You said you can see the stats like on your dashboard or something?
Yeah, the stats are displayed right underneath the email.
Just right on the same screen there?
Yeah, so like that's all pulling from the database and displaying that right after being updated. So it's all feed directly from the user's data. So if you were to hit the erase stats, it will wipe it, and then it pushes 0 back to all the data. And then if you want to go up into the user options, all those pieces work too. So there's like a theme selector, and that's tracked with your login and log out, so it remembers it. So if you just want to go up there and play with them,
Show us
in
the
the user options. Yeah.
So you would need to keep track of your X or O.
Yeah, for like that the game itself, it's only keeping track of the active game while it's being viewed, but it does track the permanent stats.
That's a good question. The table association, yeah. So multiple people associated with people, we all get the same message. Yeah, if they log in as 5, they should all send that to they can all send,
No, I don't think that's a long enough email.
Right?
It fit in the box, that's not acceptable.
They find out that information from the server.
And one of the things, that's the when it's testing the password, it won't tell you if your password's valid, so no one will database or alter the data. It checks all of that first, so you never have to worry about accidentally putting in a bad email or putting your password wrong and try to update without your knowledge. And then the password works really similar. And if you do a delete account, it does exactly what you think, and it will put the data in the database. It won't be there afterwards.
Where you guys, so I like this because I think a lot of companies are playing with similar mechanics or crowdsourced help. I actually talked to a company that had a really similar idea.
And it says it's still not matching.
MOKRZYCKI.
Which means it might, when you first push the email, there might have been a misspelling of the email because of the password don't get accepted. But that's
Well,
okay.
now you get to just keep it, so.
Don't worry, that's super easy for me to fix. Actually, I left a tab open intentionally to remove data, but that's the gist of it. I'll take it out for you because admin rights and everything. And
Let's do the reviews.
And there you are. It looks like you spelled.
Yeah, but you guys playing a lot of continue work or are you sick of looking at?
I spelled cat girl.
So, there we go. No problems. That's why there's always the ability to, write handles and everything. But that's the gist of it. And then the last thing that I will demo for you fine folks, because it's been such a riveting thing to watch, is
Not John. Yes.
Alright. So the hardest thing for us to make, and it took us bringing in a bunch of extra things we hadn't studied in class, was to get a user reset working, because it sucks if you get locked out of your account. And there it goes. Here's the bot. Attaches a token on the end. Click on that, reloads the page. This is actually the exact same page, but as you can tell, it knows the difference between your data and the token. And then you fill in a new password, which I'll probably forget right after this and have to do this again. But it does that, knows it's good, resets it, and then it pushes a login. And one of the features of the login is it dumps and updates the user profile, so the old tokens don't sit around. So reset password information doesn't stay in the database anywhere, because that can be legacy data that comes to bite you in the butt later. So it constantly cleans itself, and the only feature that I'd say we didn't get around to adding that would have kept something from a bad email happening was email verification, because that uses the exact same thing as the reset password, but we would have had to gutted a whole bunch of the sign up, and the sign up is also another 400 lines of code we would have had to change. So we decided to go ahead and get the game in there, so we weren't lying about the game when we were talking about the project. Other than that, we were kicking around an idea for a while about building a game from scratch with our own concepts, and in theory it would have worked, but when you hit 1.5 weeks left, you settle for tic-tac-toe. And one of the things that Jerome had talked about at one point was giving the user the ability to pick their colors, and we didn't get that far either, because we would have liked to put sliders to choose your color, so it would have just, instead of picking a predefined theme, you could have customized it live. Same with fonts. We could have given the user the ability to change the fonts, but didn't quite get there either. And we have the shell of it, to where if we had that extra 2 weeks, it would have been a lot easier. It would have taken another 6 weeks to get there, basically.
I like to spend weeks doing things I've never done.
Are there any other questions? I know this has been really great. I can bore you more about why the code was awful, but
what were all the resources you used to create that, retrieve your password?
So we dug up, we kicked around a bunch of ideas, even including like hosting our own email, like trying to get our own email thing going, but that usually requires money and is more work than it's worth to set up. They would have probably taken us another 2 weeks to fix that. So we kind of took the easy way out. We used something called Node Mailer. It's able to take any data that you give it as far as an email and can send it out automatically for you. So we created a bot email, so it wasn't using any of our personal emails. And then anytime you send it, it comes from the bot. And since we never check it or go into the bot's email, then we can never get into or see anybody's password or reset password tokens. And since the reset timer is only 15 minutes to where it goes bad, there's a very slim chance that either one of us could catch the actual reset password token into the email. So yeah, Node Mailer to the rescue. That only took one import from what we were originally working with.
And then the email that it sends to your personal email, that link will wipe out your previous information and send you to the new page to put in the new information? Or
It's doing some, it's kind of doing some sneaky stuff in the back. It already knows the reset password link. It sends you the reset password link, and then what it does with that is it attaches a token. The token is based off of the password that's been forgotten. And then when you reset the password, since it's no longer able to use the old password, that token invalidates itself automatically. So it's good for one use, and you only have 15 minutes to use it. If you
All right, guys, we have had some fantastic conversations, and we certainly want to give everybody a chance